Welcome back to the interview series of Peer Review Week with ACSE. And I'm thrilled to be joined by Maria Machado from Storytelling for Science, who is also co chair of this year's Peer Review Week. Thank you, Maria, for joining me today for a quick and brief interview today. So, how
Thank
about we
you.
start with a little bit of your professional journey, as well as if you can share a little bit about how you get involved in peer review and the experience in automation of the whole process.
So I started doing research. I did research for a lot of time in vascular physiology. So I had to read about hemodynamics, integrative metabolism. So I even quoted in my PhD papers from as far back as 1928. And that really led me to figure out how they were beautifully described methods with all of the details. And that made me realize that that was very, very important to advocate for reproducibility, for fair research design. And these are all important things in peer review. So it changed the way I peer reviewed during academia, and it translated into my editing career.
That's fascinating. So, in your opinion, can automation in peer review process really reduces the reviewer fatigue while still maintaining the quality that is, I would say, that so critical to scholarly publishing?
Yes, I think that something as simple as a checklist for people to fill out could be really a good idea, structured peer review, but also something I recently saw a post by Ashutosh, I think, that also talks about reviewer fatigue and how streamlining reviewer processes and broadening the pool of reviewers, optimizing reviewer matching can all be done in an automated way to reduce reviewer fatigue. But also, I think that providing mentorship programs could become something that's a real advantage for researchers engage in peer review because they have to do it. So it is something that could be given back to them by the community.
Indeed. So, when it comes to AI and peer review, I would say that maintaining quality is the key. So, where do you think we should draw the line between automation and human judgment in the whole peer review process?
Well, I think that you can't really replace human judgment, but you can have tools to help you during that judgment. So you could have additional information, you could have text recognition, you could have translation, you could have language improvement, and all of those could be automated and aided by AI to improve understanding for reviewers and then to help them communicate.
Perfect. So, as an expert, how do you see the role of automation evolving in the whole peer review process? And how do you think it will become a standard practice for the process?
So I think that more and more research output is becoming complex. Like you have a lot of different kinds of different data visualization, different kinds of data, different ways of analyzing the data, different protocols, different procedures, and not everyone's going to know about everything. So there may be a time where most people can't review a whole paper because it just collates a lot of different techniques and data. So you need to involve reviewers from different backgrounds, but also not merely focus on accept and reject, like engage people to provide constructive criticism. And I think that the work that's been done with eLife and preprint repositories is really fascinating in that respect.
Interesting. So, before we wrap up, do you have any advice for publishers and reviewers who are considering incorporating more automation into their peer review workflows?
Um, I think that no automated process survives without a quality check. So you need regular audits, you need to keep monitoring the process. And there are always going to be times where a human is needed to provide critical input. But that's where I think that engaging reviewers, providing them with learning opportunities, recognition, certification will actually improve the relationship that you have with the reviewers and make them more amenable to taking up this kind of work.
Exactly. So one last question before we finalize this interview. What are your thoughts in general for this year's theme of innovation and technology in peer review? And how do you see the Peer Review Week platform contributing to the field? Because you're one of the co-chair of Peer Review Week this year. So how this is contributing to the field?
So I think that every person at the leading edge of their field is eager to see what technology can do to increase their efficiency, to provide faster productivity and work turnaround. So in the peer review process, these are not the only outcomes. You can also increase reproducibility, automate literature searches, automate analysis for systematic and umbrella reviews. And you can leverage all of that data to provide advice towards policy development, and all of those things can be automated. There are advantages of automating those things as long as we continue to advocate for open access and open science to provide access to those data.
One last point with the topic of interview today, automation in peer review, enhancing efficiency or risking quality, where your vote goes for enhancing efficiency or risking quality?
Oh, I think we can definitely enhance efficiency, but we always have to be aware that we can't leave everything to automation. There's always going to be a human element involved in the process. So we always need to make sure that whatever algorithm is developed is continuously working with the new inputs that are being developed.
Thank you so much, Maria, for sharing your insights. And it's been a pleasure discussing these important points with you today. And your perspective will certainly provide valuable guidance for as we continue to explore the balance between innovation and tradition in peer review. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.